Well, it is mid-July in the garden, and I thought I'd give you a quick tour of my little vegetable garden. It got an upgrade last year. I used to have four. Well, I had 3 and then I had 4 in-ground beds. And now I have upgraded to raised garden beds, which I absolutely love. My husband built these out of our neighbor's old picket fence that they removed and they had sitting on their driveway. And he sent him a text message say, "Hey, what's your plan?" And they were thrilled to be getting rid of it. And now I get to enjoy it and see it every day, and I absolutely love it. So let's walk around and take a quick tour. I have a bunch of big flat leaf cabbage. This is a new variety for me. It's Burpee brand, and it's supposed to be really great for wraps and things like that. And since my children really love making wraps, I've been growing that this year. I have a gigantic one over on this side, which I can't even believe. The thing I love about growing your own cabbage though, is how incredibly sweet that it can be. I also have a bunch of different varieties of kale. I see 2 of them right now. I must have eaten the rest. Burpee sent me a PR package that included some new to me kale varieties, and we've been really enjoying that. This one is from a seed packet. I will look up the exact brand of this, and it has gone crazy in this bed, and I really need it to get gone. I also have tons of alyssum in my garden beds this year. I wanted to entice the ladybugs. I add a lot of ladybugs. I have so many pepper plants mixed in. They're just starting to come into their own. I have lots and lots of marigolds. I always love having flowers. These are just volunteer cosmos from in the past. Didn't plant these at all, they just popped up. I pulled a whole bunch of them out earlier in this season and just left the ones where I wanted them, and then I pulled a couple up and threw them into the vegetable beds. Now these guys are gigantic. These are the Big Daddy sweet peppers. I have to keep the tags in so that my family knows what color they're supposed to be when they're getting picked. So I always keep the tags in on my peppers. I don't love green peppers unless they're banana peppers or jalapenos. I don't do green bell peppers. So I don't actually grow those, but every year my family comes in picking my bell peppers when they're green, which they're fine, but I don't like them. So I have so much basil. I have quite a bit that needs to be pinched off. Some of it's getting kind of leggy because it needs a little more sun. I planted a ton of thyme as well in all of my beds. I have a really great chicken noodle soup that uses a rotisserie chicken. And so I planted a whole bunch of thyme because out of all of the herbs that I saved last season, thyme was the one by far that I went through the fastest. And I actually went through all of it before January. So I wanted lots and lots of thyme. I have strawberries. This year I'm growing Albion strawberries in the raised beds. And this guy, this one's special. We're gonna come back to this in a couple of weeks, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is just yet. It's kind of magical, and I really wanna see how it does. It's my first year growing this tomato. Lots and lots of basil. So much. I live in Utah and it's high desert here, and so I actually just take my basil inside, I wash it off and lay it on a plate in my dining room, and I let it dry out that way, and then I just go grab it when I am cooking or need something for sauces. I have lots of flamingo penstemon. I had that in the garden before I built the raised beds. I mean my husband built. All the credit goes to him. So before he built the raised beds, and I actually dug it up and put it in pots and overwintered it because I loved it so much I knew I wanted it to come back. My cabbage is kind of invading its space a little bit, but it was so beautiful and I just cut it back so it will bloom again. Now I also have lots of violas. These I planted early in the spring and they are still here with us. I'm hoping that they're seeding just a little bit and that we'll get more violas. Now, something that I end up doing a lot in July in the garden is picking runners off of my strawberries. I like to make sure that these are trimmed off so that I'll have bigger, better strawberries. I think I might start keeping a few in the fall to add to my collection of strawberries. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. But for right now, I'm taking these off. They gotta go. Now, I recently added the path in the bottom of the garden because I realized when I had just compost paths, I didn't want to always be putting on shoes to come out, and I love my gravel walkways, but they're really incredibly sharp to walk on barefoot. So we repeated the diamond patios that we have in 2 other places in the yard. This is the 3rd location, and I've absolutely loved it. It's so much more comfortable to walk on. It's been great. Highly recommend, 10 out of 10. I will try and do a video on that. If you're interested, please let me know in the comments below. We can talk about my beautiful canna centerpiece right here. She is gorgeous. She's blooming all summer. I just come out and cut off the seed pods as soon as they're done blooming. And I cannot believe how gigantic it has gotten even in this tiny little pot. It's incredible. I also on this back wall have, this is lemongrass, and I have strawberries, and then this is an espalier apple tree with 6 different types of apples on the back. Absolutely love that. And then I have John Davis roses planted on either side just to be cute and to bring in some pollinators. I did do a video on that recently on the way that we finally wired them to the fence 3 years after I planted them. I get really excited at the plant store, and sometimes I get things planted before I get things ready to be planted. Well, I think that's about it for me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the really quick July garden tour. Please let me know in the comments below what type of videos you'd like to see in the future. I love making quick, short videos on Instagram, and I've recently started doing longer format here on YouTube because I think it's a better place to be able to go way more into detail over the fun things that I'm growing in the garden. So I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you soon.